and welcome to Chalk Talk. I am super excited about my guest today. A special interview request, and nothing but a little bit of favor. We've been talking about football. We've been talking about the upcoming Super Bowl. And so today, my guest is Coach Jalen Hurts of Channelview High School. That last name sounds familiar, and that jersey and his background looks familiar. Yes, he is the father of Jalen Hurts, who is headed to his very first Super Bowl. And first of all, Coach, thank you for taking some time to visit with me. How are you this afternoon?
Fine. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Let me ask, is it, you know Jalen, you know his ability. What is it like for you? I know you're bound to be proud to see him on this stage and headed to the pinnacle of playing in the National Football League.
Oh, it's a great honor. It's a blessing. I'm just so happy for him because I understand the hard work he's put into it. And so I'm just happy to see him, get to achieve, a childhood dream, basically.
Let's talk about that work a little bit and briefly just talk a little bit about his journey. Obviously, you knew him as not just your son, but a player because you're a coach. Mm-hmm. He went to Alabama, had some success, left Alabama, went to Oklahoma, was still on that podium, on that stage in the conversation about being a Heisman winner. And then he went to the National Football League in the second round, and people still question, well, I don't know if he can be a quarterback. But he did what you said. He put in the work. Can you just talk about his journey, what you said to him along the way to keep him encouraged as he kept grinding?
He did well at Alabama, and some things happened, and he had a hand in it. It was a tough situation to go through, but we looked at it as something God set in his path for him to go through, and he was going through it. He wasn't stuck in it, and so it was just something that helped him mature and come out on the other side stronger. And so I thought he did a great job with it, and OU was a great stop, and the coaches, he had great coaches along the way at all of them. And, the opportunity to get drafted in the second round was just a truly blessing.
When he got to Philadelphia, when he got a chance to play, before he was actually officially named the starter, so many of the, and I always say air quote, experts wondered if he had what it took or what it takes to actually be an NFL quarterback. He obviously never questioned his ability. I'm sure you didn't. But how difficult was that for him to navigate and just keep his head down and keep working?
He has the innate ability to lock in. He has a great drive and determination that he's established for himself. And so he's going to work. It's never a matter of work. So, it's a deal where we always say he's not trying to prove people wrong. That might be the result. But that's not what he tries to do. He wants to prove himself right.
What are you most proud about of Jalen as his father?
The first and foremost, the man that he's become, how he handles everything. I'm proud that he, got his degree in 3 years, because that was the whole purpose of going to college, is to get your degree. And so he got that.
Let me just interject right there. You said he got his degree in 3 years.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. I just want to make sure I don't want to gloss over that because that's a really big deal.
Yeah, no, he's kind of smart. So he went and kind of worked. He worked hard, and it was important to him. And so the fact that he got it in 3 years is what afforded him the opportunity to transfer to Oklahoma as a grad transfer. So, that's the big thing, is that he went to college for what you want kids to go to college for, is to go get an education so that you can better yourself afterwards. The football took off for him, and so that's a blessing. And so he just has to have a different job.
So, Coach, tell us a little bit about Jalen as a kid. What was he like growing up?
Normal kid, just a regular kid. When your father's a coach, so, like I tell people, it was a lot cheaper for me to take him and his older brother with me to summer workouts as opposed to paying for daycare. So they just go run around and, then they try to mimic the older kids. And, as the years went by, they were getting older. And so they could actually get out there and they, do drills at a young age. And, they just, allowed them to develop their passion and love for football.
When did you know that he had an extra special talent for the game? I mean, it's one thing to play, but he's obviously got a special gift for this.
I'll say his junior year in high school, I realized he had matured a lot and that he was a different player. At that time, he was getting a lot of buzz dealing with recruiting, but that first game, me and the coaches realized, okay, he's different than he was last year. It's kind of like he's grown up. And so, each year he just continues to progress.
Well, progress is probably an understatement, right? He is at the top of the game. He is where everybody that starts the season in the NFL wants to be, headed to the Super Bowl, and where a lot of young kids want to be at some point in their career. They always shoot for, hey, I want to play in the NFL, and, oh, by the way, I want to be an NFL quarterback. I want to talk about, you talked about him a bit as a child growing up. Talk about him now as a grown-up, because, like you said, you're proud of the man that he's become, but, what's exciting to him? Obviously, there's more to him than just football, although he's really locked in, but what should we know about Jalen personally?
I mean, he has an old soul. The Anita Baker thing took off, but, he's a big Mays fan. He's got a lot of, time spent with Frankie. He loves Al Green, so he just loves old school music. And he has his normal hip hop phases, but, he has an old soul. He's, and unfortunately when you play quarterback at the schools that he went to, so you're just not normal in public. So he's used to not just being out like that. And so with the excitement and everything that's going on in Philly this year, he's already prepared to, he's not a party animal. He's not the guy that's out there and in the limelight. He's more, secluded to himself. And, those things have served him well for where he's at now.
Yeah, I would imagine, especially being in a place like City. I mean, you're Channelview, but we're just gonna call it Houston because it's all the same.
Oh, it's Houston.
It's all the same. It's Houston. But what was the transition like going from college to a city like Philly?
Philly is a rugged city. It's a working class city, and he doesn't mind working. He's always been one that put in the work for whether it's cut the yard, whatever he had to do. And so, coming from Alabama, where that's their professional team, and so he's used to the passionate fan base, let's say, and that passion can be, depending on if you win or lose, good or bad passion, positive or negative. So he's used to that. So going to Philly, it's a deal where they've embraced him, and, he loves kids. He loves going to schools and talking to kids, whether it be league teams or junior high teams or high school teams or going in the classroom and reading. He just loves doing stuff with little kids to, show them that, you have an opportunity to do something with yourself. If you apply yourself and, take your academics and, to heart, make them of importance. And so that's the thing. And so Philly, they've embraced him, and, everything's going good right now because they're in the Super Bowl. So, if you're not, but.
Coach, talking to Coach Averion, Jalen Hurts' father, also was his coach, is his dad. And I don't know if you may have seen the clip by now, but on ESPN on Monday, Ryan Clark was talking about both Patrick Mahomes and Jalen. And he said he wanted to make sure that he also shouted out their fathers, which is one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you, because I've been in the media for more than 30 years. I tell people I started when I was 12, if you start doing the math. But
definitely.
we don't hear these stories a lot about fathers, especially, I'm sorry, let me be really clear about Black fathers and their sons. We hear about our homes being broken and the dads aren't around, and that those stories are true for some people. But I always say that's not everybody's story, and so I wanted to talk about the fact that you are a great example of this is normal in our community, right? We have dads who are present and available for their sons, and so I wanted you to talk about Jalen just as a father. We know about him as a football coach, but a little bit more as a father.
I mean, it's a humbling experience. As a parent, you want your kids to grow up and do better than you. And I feel that we've truly been blessed with three great kids. And our oldest son is a coach. I don't understand why, but he's a high school coach. And that was the path he chose after he finished playing in college. And then we have Jalen as the middle, and we have a daughter. She's a high school senior, and so she's graduating, ready to go off. But I truly feel like I know I've been blessed with it. We've been blessed with three great kids, and they have strong heads on their shoulders, and they're driven, and they know what they want to do. And all you want to do is raise them up and give them the best opportunity and knowledge you can, and love and care, and let them go out. They're gonna bump their heads sometime, and then you need to be there for it then. But it's a great deal. And as a coach, I understand what it's like. I have kids that I have players that I've never met their father. And I have players that I've met their father, and probably too much. But it's a deal where, as a coach, you want to be there because that you understand being that male role model. It just comes with the territory, that father figure, because you spend so much time with them, especially football, because it's, year round pretty much. As a father, as a coach, you want any kid you have to go off to school and do well, and you love it, when they have the opportunity to make it professional in whatever sport that is. As a parent, you want your kids to be able to go out and strive to achieve their goals. You understand sometimes they have some lofty goals. And so then when your goal, when your kids' goal become, I want to be, NFL, one thing, that's already high enough. NFL quarterback is like, okay, then I want to be a starter. So it's like, okay, well, God, at some point. But if you have faith, God's always had his hands on him and guided him through everything, and he still is. So it's out of my hands. I've done my part, I guess.
No, Coach, I believe you and your wife did your part. Listen, I want to stay true to the time, so the next time I reach out and ask you to visit me, you will. So before we end this, has it been overwhelming for you at this point? I mean, you're his dad, like you're not playing, but look, I reached out. I'm sure there are others. And are you excited about being in Arizona next week for the game?
It'll be nice. We'll figure that part, just to get to see him. My thing is he got to wake up and go to work on Monday, go in and get treatment and get his body back right. So, I can tell him that's a good thing because there were two teams that, the nature of it, they went in Monday to clean out their lockers. Yeah. And so, him and his teammates, they still got 2 weeks, of work left. So that's a great deal. We enjoy it. It's a thing where you want to make sure you enjoy the opportunity and the ride. So, but for me, I don't lose focus. The most important thing to me is you're proud as a parent to see him there. As a coach that's a parent, I understand what he wants out of this. And so I don't lose, sight or focus on that part. This is about, okay, we're here, and neither team wants to lose. So it's like, okay, time to go to work again. And this is for, this is what it's about. This is what everyone started camp hoping to get to. So, we'll see what happens with it.
Well, Coach, I appreciate your time. Good luck to Jalen next week. And there'll be tons of people in Arizona. I may not see you, but I hope to talk to you again soon. And on the other side, we'll see how it goes. Best of luck to him, and I hope that you and your family get a chance to enjoy what will undoubtedly be a pretty hectic week next week in Arizona. The weather should be better than we're having right now in Houston.
Look, if I get there, that's going to be like a vacation. Because see, You know, we had signing day today, and
Right?
you're my sixth interview
Wow.
today. So and you know it's good. I'm not gonna say anything's bad because because of the reason,
Right.
you know, and everything's around it, and then the two black quarterbacks playing each other, you know, the two Texas quarterbacks who happen to be black playing each other. So it's a big deal for Texas high school football. It's a big deal for African American or black athletes anywhere that have dreams for those little boys that a dad can look over and say, see, hey, you got a shot, and so
Right.
those things are humbling. So you just kind of take everything in stride with it. So you know, just looking forward to it getting here and seeing what happens.
Coach Averion Hurts, thank you. I appreciate it. The sixth interview in one day. At some point, I'm going to have to give you a check.
Look, that's
Like the other people. So,
look, hey, look, man, I don't think hey, okay now. Some point we
I
got to
know,
cut the
right?
check.
Listen, I know, right? That's why I was so appreciative that you made time today because I know it's getting crazy. I said, if you can do it today, I can move something around. So I appreciate you. I look forward to seeing what happens in Phoenix next week. Hope you guys enjoy it. And thank you so much, not just for your time today. I appreciate that, but also for giving me a chance to talk about the fact that the narrative is not what you always see in the media, that this, you, Jalen, his family, the work, that's the narrative that we should be talking about. So thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. And I'll say on that, that's we've been, doing things all year. And, the one thing about it is like, it's not a hardship story. I can't say he came
Right.
from humble beginnings. And, I've been a coach for a long time. So, I was coaching when he was born. So it's like I've always had, thank God, a stable job, and
Right.
now, so it's like, can you tell me anything? Ain't nothing to tell. He's a normal kid. He just, he ain't trying to get out the grind and get out of a bad situation. He's doing this because this is just what he wants to do. This is
And
what
that's
he
awesome.
chose to do. And so it's
That's
like,
listen. He finished college in 3 years.
yeah.
I went to college at Texas A&M, tennis player. I finished, but it took me longer than 3 years. So I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
Well, they got that expedited program of year round. You got to go to summer school. So we go, we just happen to work out since you're here. But, that meant a lot to him. That meant a
Yeah.
lot to him.
Yeah.
And so, he's a bright young man.
All right. Well, continued success to him, and also to Channelview High School. It's signing day. I'm going to do some stuff with Bubba from PV, so I know the day is busy. I appreciate you, and I hope to talk to you again soon.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. Thank you for
All
having
right.
me.
Thank you. Absolutely. You